And now we are actually moving towards time, almost, to Nordic Innovation House in Silicon Valley. Nordic Innovation House is a co-creation or co-owned by all the Nordic countries, and it's the perfect place for Nordic startups to tap into the local innovation ecosystem overseas. And I think we'll have a movie starting about now.
Some of the benefits you get when you partner with the Nordic Innovation House, I think it all boils down to one word for me. It's about access.
So my best memories from the Silicon Valley and Nordic Innovation time, I think it's meeting all the people, the openness.
Save time as you will learn faster how you should do your strategy, and you can accelerate your business in a totally different way. So go there, join the team, and just have fun.
Silicon Valley to me is perhaps the most dynamic innovation area in the world. Many people come to Silicon Valley to look for a specific house or a location, but it's the network, it's the people.
I think my fondest memories of Nordic Innovation House is the friends I made. It felt sort of like going on summer camp.
It really helps if you try to figure out exactly what are you aiming for, what are the solutions or the exploration you want to dive through.
Startup is not just what you see in Silicon Valley movies and things like that, that's glory. After 2 weeks someone comes in and gives you millions of dollars and you become a billionaire and then you're Mark Zuckerberg. And it's not like that. Whoever is listening to this has done it's commitment, it's your family, it's your heart.
Fellowship program is an opportunity for you as an individual to tap into the best innovation ecosystem in the world.
For us, and for me, it was about that change.
And the only way to get into the future and be successful is to learn new things and adapt them in both old and new organizations. And that's why a place like Nordic Innovation House is such a great opener to the amazing world of Silicon Valley.
All ranking, wherever you read about innovation ecosystems, when you look at the youngest, biggest and most successful companies, they come from the Bay Areas.
So, good morning, or maybe good evening, depending on where in the world you're at the moment. And welcome to this session about lessons learned from the Nordic community in Silicon Valley, hosted by the Nordic Innovation House. My name is Jenny Nordlöf, and I'm a Wallenberg Vinnova Senior Fellow here at the Nordic Innovation House. And I'm also a project manager for Prince Daniel's Fellowship in Sweden. And I will be the one moderating this panel here today. And we have about 25 minutes, and we are going to hear from 4 very experienced people from the Silicon Valley ecosystem. And of course, we are also going to hear more about the Nordic Innovation House and what they have to offer. But first, I would like to briefly introduce each panelist. First, we have Inger Gustafsson. She's the chair of Nordic Innovation House in Silicon Valley. She's a visiting scholar at Stanford and the head of Vinnova Silicon Valley office. And Inger has a PhD and extensive working experience from building up the Swedish innovation system. Welcome, Inger. And then we have Isha Bhatt, who has lived in the Silicon Valley for over 20 years, starting off as a user interface designer at eBay. She moved on to product management at PayPal, GM of Volvo Cars, and now she's the Chief Data Officer for Volvo Cars. Happy to have you, Isha.
Thank you.
And a big welcome also to Per Karlsson. He's the Director of Media Research in Ericsson, and he's also the Director of Ericsson Research in Silicon Valley. And he's working closely together with customers, partners, and academia in Silicon Valley to bring new innovation from research to the market. Welcome, Pelle.
Thank you, Jenny. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. And then last but not least, we have Elaine Weidman Grunewald, who has spent over 2 decades working in the private sector, focusing on digitalization and sustainable development. She's the co-founder of the AI Sustainability Center, which is a world-leading center for assessing the societal implications of the AI and data-driven technologies. Welcome, Elaine.
Thank you.
And thank you all for participating here today. So I think we're going to start to give the word to Inger. We saw a short movie about the Nordic Innovation House in the beginning. But Inger, could you please tell us a little bit more about the Nordic Innovation House and what you have to offer to startups and organizations? I think you're muted, Inger.
Yes. Thank you very much, Jenny, for guiding us through this panel today, and thank you everyone who is listening to us. And I'm very glad to get a chance to tell you more about Nordic Innovation House and about Vinnova in Silicon Valley. I moved to Silicon Valley in August 2018 with my family, and since then I share my time between Stanford and Nordic Innovation House. And my main mission is to support long-term collaboration between Sweden and Silicon Valley. As you heard, Nordic Innovation House is a collaboration between the Nordic countries, and Vinnova represents Sweden, and we do that in very close collaboration with Team Sweden, US. And I would say that Sweden has quite a good reputation, and we also have a good brand in California, and there is a lot of interest among the actors to collaborate with us. But at the same time, Sweden is quite small in this context, and when we can pool up together with the Nordics, we get much more traction. And I also take the chance to say that Nordic values, such as sustainability, gender equality, and trust and transparency, the way we do our democracy, is something that is very asked for here. And thanks to Wallenberg Foundation, we always have talented people from Sweden working at Nordic Innovation House, and they bring a lot of value to our day-to-day operation, but they also build a lot of competence and networks that they bring back to Sweden and to the benefit of the Swedish innovation system. And by now, I think there is more than 15 alumni in Sweden, and that's really a very good national resource. So do reach out to them to get help also back in Sweden. One of the things that impresses me most about Silicon Valley is the way that people work together, both within organizations, but also between organizations. There's very often an open mind and an interest to investigate in ways to collaborate. And in my opinion, the most value that Nordic Innovation House can bring is that we have a very good network and we have a trusted position in the system. We are connected with the academia, we are connected with cities, with regions, with NGOs, but also with investors and with industry, and that range from small startups to the big tech industry. And it, of course, also includes our friends from the Swedish industry who do advanced research and innovation in Silicon Valley. And I'm so happy to have both Pelle and Isha with us here today. Nordic Innovation House is located in Palo Alto, but we are also a virtual community, not at least during this time. We run different programs and activities. We have 2 accelerator programs, and we run webinars on a weekly basis under the brand Bifrost. Right now, we run a program called Nordic Women in Tech, and I think starting 1st of December, we are kicking off a hackathon on the topic AI promoting gender equality. We also have a special focus on Swedish areas of strength, where Vinnova also works in the Swedish system. And we have built up a strong network in the area of future mobility. And we are now looking into connected industry and precision health. And we do that by connecting the best competence node in Sweden with the relevant and forefront actors in Silicon Valley. But to conclude, my message to you is that Silicon Valley is very important. Silicon Valley is a very interesting innovation system, and we are here and we can help you connect. So do tap into the system and collaborate with us. My colleagues and I are very happy to support you and look forward for your connection.
Thank you, Inger. And maybe we should also add that if you want to know more, we have our website, nordicinnovationhouse.com, and we can also be found on LinkedIn. So feel free to contact us for any questions. So a question for the panel then. I know that you have all in different ways collaborated with the Nordic Innovation House. Can you tell us a little bit about the relation and collaboration your organization has had or have with Nordic Innovation House? Maybe starting with you, Isha.
Sure. So me kind of, when I joined Volvo, I kind of felt a little bit of an outsider coming from a very different culture and a very different country. And having interacted with Nordic Innovation House, it just felt like family. They embraced me with open arms, and now I feel I have so many connections and a huge network of people that I can access and I can help and give back to, all in terms of academia, technology, and even on a personal front. It helps me really get connected with the Swedish and the Nordic culture. So yeah, and I have made friends that'll last with me forever.
That's great to hear. Thank you. What about you, Elaine?
Yeah, so the AI Sustainability Center is part of, you could say, the Vinnova, the Swedish Innovation Agency, family of projects and initiatives. And we knew early on that what we're working on is accelerating what we call ethical AI or responsible AI development. And we knew that in order to be relevant, we needed to be present in Silicon Valley. Obviously, so much of the overall AI, development is happening there. So for us, the Nordic Innovation House, it's really about access to different people and networks. And I think it's great with the Nordic Innovation House because it's really multi-stakeholder, multidisciplinary. It's not just one big company, represented there. It's lots of startups. It's a vibrant ecosystem with both, the private sector, startups, and so on, but also academia. I mean, we've had very, great introductions to Stanford and the Humans of AI initiative there and many others. So it's really about having a hub and an ecosystem of the Nordics right there in Silicon Valley.
Thank you. And Per, you have collaborated with some of our members. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, that's true. Otherwise, I can just reinforce what the others are saying. It's really the networking part and getting to know people. And I especially appreciated the informal nature of those discussions. Because, of course, I'm coming from Ericsson. It's a big company. We have a lot of ecosystem engagement already. But this is an opportunity to connect with people that are not necessarily in the same business as we are, but have a similar background. And we tend to run into the same challenges working here in Silicon Valley with our Nordic background. And it's been super helpful to just discuss and have workshops and hear their problems, how they approach things, and learn from each other. That has been really, really useful. Then I think this part also to help to expand the network, I think that's a really good value that Nordic Innovation House brings, especially maybe to companies that are a bit smaller and might not have the connections otherwise beforehand. So.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, you all mentioned the networking part is very important. Inger, just a short question to you. Now, I mean, we're in a pandemic. How does a membership work right now? And can you become a member, and what actually can it bring to you during those times?
Well, I would say it's not. Well, on the one side, it's completely different than before. But on the other side, I mean, you still get a lot of the things that you were looking for. I mean, we still run our events, we still do the networking. And for members who really utilizes like the working space, I mean, they still get their address in Palo Alto, and we take care of their post and things like that. So I think this is a learning curve. And post-pandemic, I think we will see a lot more of a virtual membership as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So very open, and new members are welcome, and new actors who want to interact with us are also very welcome.
Great, thank you. So I wanted, talking about pandemic, I wanted to speak a little bit about the relevance of Silicon Valley in today's society. Because Silicon Valley has been the world's leading innovation hub for several years. But now a growing number of experts argue that Silicon Valley is becoming more and more irrelevant. I mean, we have Elon Musk is moving to Texas, and startups are moving to Denver. And I mean, here in California, we have wildfires and rising housing prices. Why should you be here? And is Silicon Valley still relevant? Does anyone want to start? Per?
Yeah, I can have a go at that. First, I could just sympathize with the comments about the high living costs and the impact of wildfires and droughts and everything. So, of course, that's not on the plus side. But I think one aspect of it, I think just because other parts of the world are also adopting the way of working that we've been having in Silicon Valley for a long time, does not mean that we become irrelevant. It's rather a testament that the model works really, really well. So, and I think what Silicon Valley really has, I think for me, it's two parts. It's the people in Silicon Valley and it's the culture. And I think what's amazing on the people side is that if I look where I'm living right now, with a 1 hour drive, the amount of passionate, dedicated, entrepreneurial people in all the different high-tech areas of a huge variety, it's amazing. It's mind-boggling. I don't think you can find that anywhere. And it's really the power of Silicon Valley to attract key talent from all over the world that really makes this melting pot. So the people are there, but the people is not enough. I think the other thing that is really, it's key thing for Silicon Valley, I think it's the culture part of it. One thing, it's extremely easy to connect and learn from others. I've not yet to see any other place where it's so easy to meet other companies and learn from their experience and their failures and their successes and so forth, and people are willing to share. And then another thing that I really like myself, being a Swede, is that when you meet people here, they're aiming to win. They're not aiming not to lose. And I think for me, that's a huge difference. People dare to win here. And if they fail, they just adjust and get up and get going again. And it's not a personal failure if you fail with a company or two. Most successful companies have had a few failures in the past, but they learn and adjust to get up again. And that's not something that's in their baggage afterwards. Then also, of course, we have venture capital here that is willing to support new and untested ideas as well. So I think that even though other parts of the world are replicating this, I think the amount of people and talent and coupled to the culture that we have here, it's not super easy to replicate.
Okay, that's very interesting. So actually, maybe it's three things: people, culture, and venture capital.
Yeah,
that's true.
I do want to make a comment on this wildfire thing, Jenny, because I've been thinking a lot about this, and the wildfires are clearly a symptom of bigger problems. If you look at the broader sustainability challenges that are, facing the planet today, and you come into a highly developed area like Silicon Valley, and then being confronted, or California even more broadly, with these wildfires, which are clearly tied to struggling climate and climate change reality. And I think it's not just what Silicon Valley can bring to the Nordics, it's the other way around, because I think there's a lot to be learned from the Nordics when it comes to how to work with sustainable development within a broader societal perspective, whether that's in companies, which I've spent my life doing, or whether you're in the public sector or whatever. So I think there's a real opportunity for some of the Nordic companies to bring that leadership and that thought leadership into the Silicon Valley environment. If there's any part of the world that needs it, it's Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yes, so the Nordics has something to bring and learn here in Silicon Valley, or learn to Silicon Valley, actually.
Yeah. I'll just add, in addition to what Pelle said, there's one other thing, which is the consumers. Like the mindset of the people in Silicon Valley, we are open to trying any new product that is thrown to us. And that helps drive the innovation or prove the hypotheses and build or pivot on top of that. Now, is it changing globally? Yes. When I travel to India, when I travel to China, they have billions of users who are ready to innovate and start trying new products as well. But because of the funding and the spirit that resides in the Silicon Valley, I don't think they can catch up as fast. But yes, it is spreading.
Yeah. And Isha, you have lived here for over 20 years. Silicon Valley must have changed during those years, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Initially, it was more about innovation, and we needed many, many small firms that had vision and that had the power to disrupt. Now you can see the bigger firms are taking on, and the smaller firms are thriving as well. But you can see globalization and innovation happening at every part of the world. Asia, LATAM, EMEA, everywhere. But I still feel I believe that Silicon Valley has that power to move faster and move ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm sure we have a few people listening today that are maybe planning to move here to Silicon Valley. And whether you are a startup founder or business executive or public servant, what do you need to know before coming to Silicon Valley? Maybe Inger, do you want to say something here?
I think being well prepared is very important. And knowing exactly why you should be here and who you want to meet, who you want to connect to. Do the homework before you come. And I also think it's very important to have a strategy in which way you want to use Silicon Valley. And maybe it's because building partnership, maybe it's because getting influence from the spirit, or you need to do that kind of homework before. And I think in most of the time, it's very good that a big part of what you're doing stays back in the Nordics or in Sweden. And you do what is best, and you combine the two systems.
Yeah, Elaine, do you agree on that?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that, the Nordic Innovation House can be a good base camp, if you need, sometimes if you go on, back in the days when you could travel, that is, you would go on a business trip, stay in a hotel, do your meetings. I think that the Nordic Innovation House is a great place to have as a base camp and meet not only, as Inger said, the people that you're in town to meet, but meet some of the other members there and kind of cross-pollinate ideas and so on. So, yeah, for sure.
What about you, Per?
Yeah, I think I agree a lot with what Inger said about it's really, if you come to Silicon Valley, you should really play on its strengths. You're really here because you want to focus on technology leadership. You want to focus on ecosystem engagement, being with academia, with customers or partners. If you're mainly working internally, you might just as well sit somewhere else. So you really need to play to the strength of Silicon Valley. The other thing I think it's super important when you come here, don't send over one marketing person or something like that. Make sure that you have strong hands-on people that can engage on the technical level if you're a technical company. PowerPoints and slides and talking doesn't carry much weight here. It's showing things, showing that it works and demonstrating it for real. You don't need big teams, but you need to have key talent here to be able to do these things and turn things around fast. And fast, I think it's this like the third thing, act fast and adjust. Don't sit and wait for the perfect opportunity or perfect strategy or perfect product. Get something out, work on it, adjust and move forward. And that coupled with the networking, really make use of all the networking opportunities here. Go to the meetups, connect with people. Don't be afraid to connect with people that you have heard about or seen at a meetup or something like that. I think that's super important. But I really want to reinforce this, what Inger said first. Play to the strength on Silicon Valley. I think that's the most important part.
Yeah. Play to the strength of Silicon Valley, come well prepared and do your homework. So, I mean, you're all representing Nordic organizations. I think Inger touched upon this in the beginning, but would you say that you have benefited from being a Nordic organization here in Silicon Valley? Isha, do you have something to say about that?
Yeah, absolutely. When we set up the Volvo Cars California Technology Center, it started off as a very small team. Probably 5 people in a very tiny office, almost like a garage. And now we are more than 150 people. And I think it's a symbiotic relationship. We bring so much value to the Silicon Valley as well as a Nordic company in terms of technology, in terms of mindset, in terms of the resources and thinking that's far advanced than some areas over here. And then we gain back the technology and the research and the new development that's happening from a startup system. So together we've made a lot of great partnerships. To name a few, Luminar is one of them, where we're super proud of that initiative. And it's taking back to autonomous driving and how we want to advance that technology from a Volvo Cars perspective. So absolutely.
Thank you. Maybe as I can see, we only have a few minutes. Do we have any questions from the audience? Let's see. Oh, we can't hear anything. Okay.
Sorry. Yes. I was just listening in to you, so I was, yeah. I think we have. We don't have super clear questions. I think Michael Sillon, hi, nice seeing you online, says that the people and the culture are, the most great parts about being a part of your ecosystem there, and I can only agree. And Bo Capital says thank you so much for supporting the entrepreneurs. I have a question. If I'm a startup and want to reach out to you, how do I do? Very concrete question.
Want it right now?
Who of you wants to answer that one?
To Nordic Innovation House, I would say just send us an email or call us. I mean, you can connect to me or to Jenny or to Marcus. We are a group of people. So start by visiting Nordic Innovation House Silicon Valley website, and you will find all the contact information, and we will be very happy to support.
Super. And I know for sure that many of our Swedish startups are super, super happy with the support of the Nordic Innovation House during the years. What would you say, what are you doing at the moment to, I mean, now we're not allowed to travel, or we could be possibly allowed to travel, but it's not advised to do that anyway. So I know that you have quite interesting online sessions as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the one side, we do these webinars, which is very much bringing like the program and the content that we normally do live.
Yes.
And I think you can really have a good usage of that when you do it online. So it's like a library now. We've been running this on a weekly basis since April. So I really do recommend everyone to have a look and see what you can learn. But secondly, I mean, the way that we work to really connect people to each other. And we're doing that now as well through different events. And it's a lot of online workshops. I think there was one yesterday on the topic connected industry. In the area of mobility, next week there will be a seminar between the city of San Francisco and Energimyndigheten in Sweden. And in January, we are planning to have a webinar or a working group in the area of precision medicine. So we really, pick actors from the Swedish innovation system and the perfect matching actors in Silicon Valley. And then we bring them together and we use a methodology for them to connect and take it on from there. So there's still a lot of things going on.
That's fantastic. Do you feel it's easier to connect more people now when we can do it totally digitally? Or,
yes.
Yeah?
Easier, and people are so much easier to get access to.
Yeah.
And I think everyone is so bored from just having Zoom meetings, and we're just really happy to talk to you.
Yeah, that's actually our impression as well. And I think the evidence of that is that we've actually created this together because we have never met, but you've been a crucial part of co-creating the Sweden Innovation Days, and you have engaged both startups from the community over there and also the large companies that you have brought into this. Has been, your engagement have really been invaluable. So I really want to thank you, and I look forward to continue collaborating. And I also have one last question from the audience. You're the last session, so I'm a little bit, I hope it's okay for you to stay like 2 minutes longer. Is that okay? Yeah. As an incubator, a Nordic incubator or accelerator that would like to tap into your ecosystem and connect, how would you do? What's the best?
Well, I would say the same. Just connect with us, and we'll take it from there. And I think it would be a lot of advantage to have like strategic collaboration between Nordic Innovation House and, for example, incubators in Sweden, or with Ignite, or with any like strong clusters. To build on something that is already existing in Sweden, where you already have a good vision and good connections. To combine that, it's a win-win situation.
Great, thank you so much. Do you want to say any last words?
I want to thank everyone who has participated during these days, and for everyone who has made this a success. I think this is really amazing, and I hear in the corridors that this might happen again, so let's look forward for that. So
let's look forward, yes. Thank you so much, and I also really want to thank you for all your engagement. It's been really a fun ride working together with you, and I know that Create and the Automation Region, who've been your partners in Sweden, they are also amazed by all the opportunities that this collaboration that you've had ongoing now opens up. So really, thank you so much for your engagement, and have a wonderful continuous day. Here in Sweden, it's actually snowing. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
We have the first snow now. That time of the year. It's quite nice, actually. But it will probably be gone tomorrow. Okay, so thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.